I don't know, realistically, I could not imagine sitting on this panel in front of you all, having the audacity to open my mouth if I didn't sit at the feet of veterans and elders, right? Call me what you want to. Say what you want to, think about what you want to, feel what you want to. I'm not brave enough, I'm not bold enough to sit in front of you, the descendants of a people who have been downtrodden, of a people who have been all but broken, raped, pillaged, murdered, and damn near annihilated. I don't have that type of courage to, by chance, have to face my ancestors and have to explain why I got up and wasted my people's time. I'm not that bold. Now, I consider myself a bad mother effer, but I'm not that brave because I would be guilty of ancestral treason, right? Because I'll be talking about something that I don't have no business talking about, and I'll be faking the funk, as they say, right? I could not imagine. I'm so grateful because, again, I told you the region that I come from, and I'm grateful because I was able to learn from the best of both worlds. I learned about, quote unquote, our culture from people like the Dr. Clarks and the Dr. Benz, from Marimba Ani, who was formerly Donna Richardson, and so many others, the Dr. Jeffries, the Dr. Smalls, and all those folks on that end of the stick, the Wade Nobles, etc. But I also learned from the revolutionary community. My elders and ancestors from the Black Liberation Army, to the Revolutionary Action Movement, to the Black Guerrilla Family, to the Students for Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, to the Black Panther Party, and so many others. I've been blessed to be accepted by my elders on all coasts of this particular colony of the United States. So I didn't just start commemorating Black August because I saw it on social media and I thought it was cool and I thought it was a new Black History Month. I learned from folks like O.G. Shaka Athenin, who's an ancestor right now. I learned from folks like O.G. Kamasi, who are founders of the Black August Organizing Committee. I didn't go read about the Black Liberation Army. I learned from folks like the Ruben Ben Wahad and the Sekous and so many others, right? Now I want you to understand that I'm not name dropping because most of you never heard of the names that I'm dropping. I learned from some other people whose names you do know, but they get enough credit. And some of them get credit that they don't even deserve. That's neither here nor there. My point in saying this is a matter of principle. My duty and my job and my goal is to always uphold those who came before me. Because I believe that we stand on our ancestors' shoulders for real. It's not a slick soundbite. It's not, y'all think I'm cool because I can rap. It ain't none of that. There's nothing I'm saying to you today that is original. Let me start with that. I take no credit for anything that I'm saying except for where I grew up and how I learned, right? But I learned from the people. And I learned from my OGs and I learned from my elders. When I talk about the difference between a comrade and a friend, we must be absolutely clear. Some of these folks don't know what it means to be a comrade because they have ulterior motives. A lot of the organizations and the organizers you hear today, many of them are part of the nonprofit industrial complex. Now, is that a diss on the nonprofit world? No. It's a diss on these suckers who utilize our people, who capitalize off the pain and bloodshed of our ancestors who capitalize off of the enslavement, the modern enslavement of brothers and sisters in our communities, and give them no credit. A lot of these folks, they hold town hall meetings, and they talk about gang violence, and they talk about what's on the community violence and hood violence and all that, but they never invite anyone from the hood. And it don't take place in the hood, it's on some town hall where they feel safe. These are people you should run from, right? You have folks, and I'm gonna get a little ugly right now, but you have folks like Black Lives Matter, who take our pain and our suffering, and since white folks and other Negroes who don't have a real connection, or don't have a finger on the pulse of what's going on, they utilize them, they pimp them, and they profit off of them, and legitimate organizations and organizers continue to suffer. Some of y'all don't like that.
I love it.
Some of you may be a part of these organizations. To you, I say there are sincere ranks within all organizations. I'm not blaming the adherents. I'm blaming those who put this type of lifestyle in practice and who cause us more damage and more harm than not. I need y'all to understand something, right? Because I've spoken on many stages, held many mics, all that. I don't care if I never get invited to anything else in my life. I really don't. I really don't. I have nothing to prove. In the words of Harriet, we have nothing to lose but our chains, right? We are shackled, we are enslaved, we are suffering right now, all of us. Just because you have a six-figure job or salary, it don't mean shit at the end of the day, because as a whole, we are still suffering, right? You cannot run from this. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what you call yourself. If you are oppressed, if you are African in America, you are oppressed. It doesn't mean that you are a victim. Because if you become a revolutionary, you'll be clear that a revolutionary is never a victim. A revolutionary is clear what the cause and what the purpose is. You understand? I love us. Whether you love me or not, that's your red wagon. I have a responsibility. And that responsibility is a painful responsibility, because it's lonely in these streets. When you stand up and you decide that you're going to speak, that you're going to exist, some people say you bold, some people say you brave. That don't mean anything. It means that you are defying our enslavement. It means that you are against oppression. It means that you'd rather die on your feet than to live on your knees. And some of you got knee pads on, you become comfortable and your knees have calluses on. But these knees ain't meant for that. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Pass this mic to you.
I'm so thankful that I get to, well, I know for us in the FTP movement, OGs are very important, right? Brother Kalonji has this saying, it's a difference between an elder and an older. An older is a person that's just older than you, that has nothing to contribute to the situation. An elder is a person that's not only older than you per se, but also is may have been doing something a little bit longer than you, you know? And we have respect for that as well. To me, there is nothing more Euro-minded than thinking that you can just start and do things without any governance or guidance. And when I say governance, I don't mean like, you know, from the Constitution, you know, nothing like that. I mean from an organizational standpoint. I know when I was in grad school at Georgia State, I went back, in preparation for this panel, I went back and went through some of my old research papers before we were doing stuff on the computer. There was an actual paper. So I had to do this project, and I did a lot of research on what are some of the components of community organizing, and one of those things was committed leadership and good governance. And what that means is, you know, in line with our African tradition, sitting at the feet of elders, asking questions and taking notes. And you have to have discernment, you know, in terms of who you want to get that education from. It's a lot of former community activists that are out there, and some of them don't align with some of our principles, and that's cool. No disrespect, but it doesn't align with what we're doing. So we align ourselves with those who share the vision and the commitment, and it goes above, because our OGs, right, in organizing, sometimes they get a little fanfare as well. Oh, that's so and so and so. Oh, let me get a pic. And then the thing about social media and stuff like that and taking pictures is very ego inflating. And in order to do this work, you have to have some destruction of the ego, because like we were talking about earlier, comrades versus friends. A comrade's gonna be like, yo, you on some bullshit. That is dumb. Don't do that. You look stupid. You look like a doofus. That ain't a good look. And you got to know that if that's coming from your comrade, they have a invested interest in you doing well. And it's not just a good look for the organization. It's a good look for you. It's a good look for me. It's a good look for us all. And we all benefit from it. But if you, on the flip side, are outside doing something dumb, it looks dumb on all of us. And it brings a negative light on us all. So having, governance with the elders, having leadership and guidance is very important in this work. You have to select someone who is in alignment with what it is that you're trying to do. And again, it doesn't matter if they're older. Like if I wanted to develop a skincare product, Honeysuckle Moon is not that much older than me, but she has been doing skincare work longer than I have, even if I started right now. So if I wanted to develop a product, I would go to her and be like, yo, I got some questions. Can I take some notes? Can I pick your brain? Can I put something in your Cash App for this sit down session? And then she would probably, like she always, you don't give me nothing, you know what I'm saying? But you want to take care of your elders. You want to take care of those who teach you and, who impart game on you. And then we would sit down and she would tell me, what I need to know, because she's an elder. You know what I'm saying? So you have to select, again, people who are knowledgeable in what it is that you're trying to do. Some of these things that you're interested in doing, we'll talk about a little bit later. Some of these things that you're interested in doing, there's already been brickwork laid. Somebody's already been doing that. Somebody wanted to come into Richmond and do a community farm. You got hella sites. That's like coming here and trying to start that and not sitting down with Deron Chavis. Like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? So researching and making sure people who are already, because why reinvent the wheel when the wheel is already invented? It may already be on the road. You know what I'm saying? You could do more together than you can separate. And what I've seen in today's work is it's more about the me. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? But if it wasn't for Mama Inti, who started independent birth work in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Mama Saran, Nana Tutu, people like that, there wouldn't be a real whole that would be able to exist without that foundational work already being put in. Or if it hadn't started with them, it would have been a lot harder for me to do. So again, I want to stress this. You gotta do your due diligence. You gotta do your homework before you get started in anything, because it's probably somebody that's already doing it. And have enough humility about yourself, because again, this is African people's work, right? So it's very Euro-minded, very colonist-minded to think that you can just do something without talking to nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's a colonist mindset. And if we're talking about liberation, we got to get off that. We got to be on something totally different.
So, yeah. What's been seasoned before here is this is the groundwork for revolution.
For sure.
So and we can't mistake it, and I don't mistake it. So I just want to say salute to the sisters and the brothers who came here and who also blessed this particular area right here.
For sure. Y'all make some noise for the people. Yeah. For sure.
See me outside? What we gonna do?
Let's see where we gonna go.
RBGs. RBGs. Nigga, this that RBGs. Let's say. RBGs. RBGs. Nigga, this that RBGs. Tell me, are you down?
when it's going down. You got to hold it down. Don't talk and put it down. Homie, tell me, are you down? When it's going down, you got to hold it down. Don't talk and put it down. Homie, tell me, are you down?
From my OG, from a nigga that's been in the war, been locked up longer than they've been in the earth. That is crime is defending the poor. And nigga take about death, tell you about life. Most of us they take about sacrifice. Nigga tell if a woman ain't wishing to get down, then she never really could be your wife. What it mean to be D-O-W-N? Is your homie still down when it's trouble you in? You wanna have a good time, make it hot when the pins come down on the block? Where the fuck is you in? Then you wanna get high with me, nigga, organize with me. Try to close dry, damn, but we can start a fire. With my RBGs, I'm the realer with a G-U-E. Don't let I change, I only get free.
Number one, when we ride, when we follow the plan, there's a role for every man. With a chain of command, even when the shit hit the fan, anything get out of hand, we still stand. To me, being down mean more than being friends or kin. We comrades in struggle, through any trouble, sacrifice my life in combat for you. So you know I gotta love you. I'm down for my brothers and sisters. Fuck the system, bust your pistols, nigga, I'm with ya. Just put a rag on your face when you ride. You don't want them satellites to take your picture. We gotta have a lot of discipline to win, and it come from within. It's not something you pretend, homie. A lot of niggas be talking that shit, but when it really go down, they be gone in the wind, homie. Can't be no coward, gotta get this power. By any man, gotta know yourself and your family when you put it down for you. Come on, can't tell by no tattoo. Come on, can't tell by no handshake. It starts with the heart, being down is an attitude. Do what you gotta do for the crusade. My definition of a soldier, military minded, ready for whatever, nigga. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Still wear bomb first, no. Tell me, are you down? Come on, when it's going down. Come on, you got to hold it down. Don't talk and put it down, homie. Tell me, are you down? When it's going down, you got to hold it down. Don't talk and put it down, homie. Tell me, are you down?